Gas prices surged to record highs this past week, and Americans are feeling the pain in their wallet. Bryan Llenas is here to give us the latest on the rising prices and the ongoing blame game surrounding them. Bryan?
Lawrence, good evening. About 60% of Americans say they are changing their lifestyle and driving habits because of these high gas prices. That according to AAA. Take a look at these prices. The national average price for a gallon of gas is now $4.32. That's up 40 cents in the last week. A year ago, the average price was just $2.84. So now there's a blame game. Critics say gas prices have been rising since President Biden and his anti-fossil fuels policies first took office. And then the oil industry says that Biden needs to ease the process for drilling and encourage private investment in oil projects. President Biden says the oil companies are being greedy, and he's blaming the hikes on Russia's President Putin.
Gonna go up. Can't do much right now. Russia's responsible.
Tennesseans are not believing it because they can pull up any chart, any graph, and see where gas prices were during the Obama-Biden administration, where they were during the Trump years, and where they are now.
Uber is now charging customers a new fuel fee to offset these rising gas prices. Starting on Wednesday, Uber rides or food deliveries will now cost anywhere from 35 to 55 cents more depending on your location. Now, at least 21 states have proposals now to roll back or reduce state gas taxes temporarily. Maryland and Georgia have suspended their gas taxes, for instance, for at least 30 days, saving 37 cents and 29 cents a gallon, respectively. And there are calls now for the suspension of the federal gas tax, which is 18 cents a gallon. Now, gas prices have not been this high since 2008, and it could stay high for months to come. Lawrence?
Filled up this week, cost me $90, Bryan, so I can afford it, but a lot of Americans can't, and that's a problem. Thanks so much, Bryan.
Of course.
So Americans say President Biden is to blame for the surge in gas and oil prices, and many are pointing to his cancellation of the Keystone Pipeline as a major factor. So I traveled to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and spoke to some of the oil workers who lost their jobs on the pipeline because of the president's war on fossil fuels. They were fired up. Watch. You were scheduled to work on the Keystone Pipeline.
Yep.
When you found out that it was closed, what was going to happen? What was your first reaction?
I was just dazed. I waited 2 months to get on the job. And then when I found out it was closed, I lost about 3 months worth of work because I didn't have anything else lined up.
Right after he canceled our pipeline, he endorsed the Nord Stream 2 going from Germany to Russia. And that was kind of just a slap in the face to us.
It doesn't make any sense to me to buy something from another country when you can supply it yourself. It helps our economy, it helps our industry as a whole. It affects all of us.
What do you say to those that say it's time to go full solar and electric vehicles?
I agree. Let's move towards that. Let's move towards something cleaner and something that is better for the environment. But what we're doing is not bad for the environment at all right now anyway. But if that's what they believe, then let's move towards that. But just dropping what we're doing right now and just jump on to something that's not reliable, that's not going to work.
These people don't look at any of that. They just look at what we're doing. They don't have any clue of what we do, what we go through, what we do for our jobs. All they want to do is knock us down.
Pipelines are the most efficient way of transporting something. And if you really want to be energy independent, we should advance all options to where we can maybe shut something down in the future, but not cripple ourselves and rely on somebody else's energy.
Most people don't know once you go electric, it takes energy to power that electricity. Do you think the climate activists understand that?
Yeah, they have no idea what they're talking about. They just look at the big picture and nothing in between.
And we're all seeing it. The prices of gas is going up. Average day Americans, no matter if you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, is hitting you right now.
Oh, yeah.
Could y'all help with that problem if y'all were drilling?
100%. As soon as Biden takes office, he shuts us down. Not only fuel went up to, it's like $5 a gallon now, and the price of everything's went up. It's just a complete trickle effect.
And we should be able to sustain ourselves and not depend on other nations raising their price and then it affect us. That shouldn't even be in the question.
If we want to get the price of gas down right now, if we want to drop the price of gas, what do we need to do right now?
Put us to work right now. Put us to work. And you will see not only the fuel prices go down, but you will see the price of everything else go down with it.
These gas prices affect everything on the market.
Everything.
Because of transportation.
Yep.
Yeah. Everything has to be transported.
He's blocking the probably the biggest contributor to energy in the United States right now. He's pushing for solar and wind power, but it's been proven over and over that it's just not as efficient as burning natural gas, refining crude.
Get out of all the politics. You know, we're sick of hearing, you know, this is Putin's price hike.
Jen Psaki was at the podium. She said there's 9,000 permits that has already been granted. She said if people want to pump, companies want to pump, they can go ahead and do it. That these permits aren't the problem here. What would you say to Jen Psaki?
She's lying to the American people. Those 9,000 permits that were pulled, they might not even have oil under the ground that they got the permit for. So why would the oil company go and drill on that ground? There may not even be oil there, and let alone waste their damn money because they can't run a pipeline to transport the oil and gas off the well.
If there was oil there, the gas companies would already be drilling it and they would already be producing it. And it's a lie.
They also said that the president or no one in his administration have reached out to those pipeline workers. Kind of sad. Joining me now on set is Neil Crabtree. He was laid off from working on the Keystone Pipeline as well. Neil, thanks so much for joining me. Putin is a great villain, and he's responsible for a lot of bad things. But is he responsible for what's happening right now with American gas prices?
Absolutely not. You know, I hear a lot about how oil's traded on a global market, but we could be the #1 player and we wouldn't have to deal with those fluctuations on a global market if we were the #1 supplier of oil in this country. We wouldn't have to deal with OPEC, Russia, Saudi Arabia, anything like that. If we can supply the biggest amount of fuel that it takes to run this country, we won't have to deal with things like that.
So for the people that are watching and say, why don't you guys just start drilling? What is preventing you guys from doing that?
Well, you know, being in the industry for 25 years, what I've seen in the last 5 years, there's 3 things. It's permits, regulations, and liberal lawsuits. Those are the 3 things that's keeping us from doing what we want to do, you know, and they're all backed by Democratic lawmakers. So when President Biden says that he has absolutely nothing to do with what's going on with fuel prices, that's not the truth. That's his party. That's their policies, and that's what's keeping us from. We feel bad because we could be doing things right now that help the country out as far as energy prices go.
You say those climate activists sue you guys for what?
Excuse me?
The climate activists sue you guys for what?
It's a complicated situation, but you know, it's all about climate change, you know, and I'm sorry that they think that, you know, burning fossil fuels is destroying the planet, but it's part of that we rely on every day. You know, the green energy sector of this country ain't ready to power it. We still rely on oil, we rely on gas, and if we keep shutting ourselves out, we're going to be, I mean, we've dug ourselves a big hole already, and it seems like the Biden just wants to keep on digging deeper.
If the president gave you guys the space, and there's already pressure from the country now, you see it reflective in the polls right now, they think he's responsible for it. If he unleashed you guys to go do what you guys do best, is provide energy for all of us, how long would it take before we start to see the price of fuel go down?
Well, like I said, we've already dug a deep hole, but the policies that the Biden administration is enforcing is only going to make it deeper. The only way to start clawing ourselves back out of this hole, and it's going to take a while, I'm not lying to you, but you know, releasing oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, doing things like suspending the federal gas tax, that's just Band-Aids. You know, the only way to fix a problem is to make America #1 in energy independence, and That's basically the only way we can get out of it.
We were at one point, but he decided to change that on day one. And I think he's going to pay a heavy price for it because you see the American people are outraged. Neil Crabtree, thanks so much for joining me in the studio today.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.